Hello, how are you today? Well, I hope you are fine. Well, today we're going to do a revision of units 7 and 8 um, to do the language revision on pages 76 and 77. Remember that we have skipped some topics, so I'm going to let you know on Classroom which activities or which exercises you have to do from this revision. Well, in these two units, 7 and 8, we dealt with reported speech. Remember that reported speech is repeating what another person has said. And usually we use the verbs asked, said, and told. Remember that we use asked when it is a question or a request, un pedido. Yes, for example, please open the door. The teacher asked me to open the door. Or if it is a question, for example, do you own a dog? Anna asked me if I owned a dog. Remember that if there is no WH question word, we use if. Yes? And in reported speech, we change tenses and expressions. We always go back one tense back, and some expressions also change. For example, here this, that, these, those, right? Tomorrow, the following day, yesterday, the previous day, right? Or the day before. Okay, we use said when the person has said something, but we don't know to whom he has said that. For example, I haven't seen Agnes for ages. Tom said he hadn't seen Agnes for ages. Present perfect, past perfect. Said, no sabemos a quién se lo dijo. Yes, lo dijo. And then told when we know the person who receives the message, right? So, for example, we will celebrate the championship. The team told me that they would celebrate the championship. Yes? So it depends on who is speaking, if it is a question or not. And if we are speaking to another person and we know, we use asked, said, and told. And we change tenses one tense back. Now, we also learned that there are some verbs of reporting. Apart from asked, said, and told, we can use different verbs to express what the person is doing while saying something. For example, I will study hard. This student, while saying this phrase, is promising. So, the student promised to study hard. We don't use as, said, or told. We use different verbs of reporting. These are just some examples, but there are lots of examples in the book. These are examples that are of verbs that are followed by to, refused to, promised to, offered to. Some that are followed by that, complain that, suggest that, and some that are followed by ing, suggested, going, apologize for, arriving, for example. So be careful because these are not all the reporting verbs. You've got a long list on the student's book, right? And then remember that I copied that on the board so you can have a look at your notebooks. And then another topic that we were dealt with are linkers of contrast. Remember that we can use a variety of linkers of contrast, not always but and however that are the ones that you are used to using. Here we include although, in spite of, or despite, on the other hand, and however. Now they are used differently. Although is followed by a subject and a verb, in spite of or despite are followed by a noun, un sustantivo, or an ing gerund. On the other hand, subject and verb, however, subject and verb. Remember that on the other hand and however go after a stop and they are followed by a comma. Yes, they cannot begin or start the sentence. So, for example, although it was raining, I went running round the park. Yes, a pesar de. Another example, in spite of the rain, I went running round the park. So, rain, noun. I went running round the park. On the other hand, I had a big a hot shower after that. And it was raining. However, I went running round the park. Yes? So different ways to show contrast in a sentence. And then the last topic that we saw was modal verbs used for making deductions. Yes, when you want to make a deduction, you may be sure, not sure, or you may be sure of something that is of sure that something isn't, and you may not be sure. So we use must, can't, and might. If I say he must be John, I am sure that person is John. If I say he can't be John, I am sure that person is not John. If I say he might be John, I am not sure the person can be John or not. I have no certainty. So must and can't are used for certainty, certeza, you are sure, and might is used for possibility, you are not so sure. So to practice this, and then we dealt with vocabulary, of course, you can revise the vocabulary of Unit 7 and 8. To do the language revision on page 76 and 77, you're going to do exercise 1, 2, and 3, reporting speech, reporting verse, linkers of contrast, and 5, must, can't, or might. You're not going to do 4 and 6. And then from the vocabulary section, page 77, you're going to do number 7, relationships, number 8, phrases with away, number 10, vocabulary, and number 11, it's a conversation. So you're not going to do number 9. And from the workbook, you're going to work with page 67, that is skills practice reading, and then the listening we are going to do in the Zoom class, and writing, yes. No, you're not going to do the writing, sorry, we haven't learned letters of applications yet. So only reading, exercise 1 and 2, yes, and 3 and 4 we are going to do in the Zoom class. Well, I hope this is clear. Please, if you have questions, you can ask me. There are a few contents missing that we are going to see in these following classes, and we are almost about to start revision. Don't forget to read the novel, please. Okay, thank you. See you next class. Bye-bye.